Hi everybody and welcome to our new video, and this one is about Bowie in the 1960s. So it's starting really early from about 1964 and the release of Liza Jane, the single on Vocalion. So this is a scrapbook I've got of all the stuff I've got from that period, so we're just going to run through it. It might take 2 videos to do it, I'm not quite sure. But we'll start and we'll see how we go on. So this is, the first page here is New Musical Express, and it's Friday the 5th of June 1964. And there's nothing evident on that page because you have to remember that in 1964 David Bowie commanded really very tiny amounts of space in the press, music press, any press really. So what we have to do is we have to look at this headline here, which is Quick Spins. And this is where they used to do a very quick review of some single releases that week. And Bowie's is the first one there, and it says, Quick Spins, Shouting Type R&B, Louie Louie Go Home, and Forceful Shaker Liza Jane on Vocalion by Davy Jones with the King Bees lack melody, but compensate with a terrific beat. And really, that's the first review I know that's available of Liza Jane. And just to repeat it, it's New Musical Express, Friday, 5th of June, 1964. There's nothing else about Bowie in the whole of that page. But on the same date, and again we're looking at 5th of June 1964, New Musical Express, new on sale today. So these are the new singles that came out that day and you could actually buy that day. If you just run down and you'll come down to here, and there is the advert for Davy Jones with the King Bees, Liza Jane on Vocalion, and it's V9221. So actually, for NME, that's quite a lot of Bowie content considering it was 1964. During this as well, I may have to turn the scrapbook around, so you'll have to bear with me, okay everybody? One of the earliest sort of decent sized articles of Bowie was this one. And this is Record Mirror, and it's June the 20th, 1964, and the headline there is D. Jones and Co. And it's basically telling us that the band are a bit bust, got no money, with the King Bees, and actually they could do with some support from somewhere. It's basically saying they haven't got any money for equipment and their equipment isn't very good. So that's that one, and there's Bowie looking very, very young, yeah, of course. And over on the next one, we've got another advert here for Liza Jane with the King Bees. And that's NME, Friday, November the 13th, 1964. I think that's all that was on that page. I'm just checking it through. I think that was it, actually. Okay, now this one, I'll have to turn. I'm not going to tell you too much about this because I've got a gap in my collection. There is a follow-up to this one, and I will at a later stage tell you a bit more about it. But if you go down to the bottom here where it says Real Thing, and again I won't tell you too much more about it. I'm also going to write a little bit about it in issue 3 of the fanzine. So I'll tell you more about it then. But I advise those who knock the Who to give up. Someone tell them about pop art. Admittedly, the Who are only bordering on this new sound. If they want the real thing, listen to Davy Jones and the Lower Third from London. But as I said, there is a gap in my collection which I'm working on filling, so I'll let you know a bit more about that, hopefully in the fanzine, issue 3. Moving back round. Okay, here we have a very young Davy, and it says, Davy with an IE, to differentiate between he and American singer Davy Jones, who works with the Lower Third. And this is the first disc. You've Got a Habit of Leaving is out next week on Parlophone. Davy is 19. Used to be an advertising artist. Now plays tenor, alto baritone saxes and guitar. Group backing him comprises genuine characters, Grey and Ribbons, nicknamed Death, Dennis Taylor, alias Teacup, Phil Lancaster, the drummer. They use £170 1956 LCC ambulance as their mobile workshop and hotel. And that was Record Mirror. and that's week ending August the 14th, 1965. Moving over to this page here, right down the bottom here, this is the singles review page, so it's singles reviewed by Norman Jopling and Peter Jones, new singles reviewed this week. And it's Davy Jones, You've Got a Habit of Leaving, Baby Loves That Way on Parlophone. Shell Talmy production for the highly talented singer. It's a curiously pitched vocal sound with a powerful percussion and a slight dingy approach. Or was that dirgy approach? Dirgy approach, I think it says. Plenty happening, lots of wailing, very offbeat. Didn't get anywhere, of course, as we know. This is David Bowie's first cover on a magazine, and it's NME. And it's January the 14th, 1966, and really it's just an advert for Can't Help Thinking About Me, and that was paid for by his manager at the time, which is Ralph Horton at 79A Warwick Square, London. And there were 3 different adverts for Can't Help Thinking About Me. I've only got 2 of them, and 1 missing. I'll tell you about that in a minute. There'll also be a bit of a feature about Can't Help Thinking About Me in a future issue of the fanzine, probably issue 3, but maybe issue 4. Who knows? But that's David Bowie's first cover, NME. This one, I've got a bit of a break there. This is a local paper, and I can't remember which one it is, in London. And it features Bowie, and it's a review again. They used to be known as Oliver Twist and the Lower Third, and were very popular with Thanet teenagers. Oh, that's right, I think it is the Thanet Weekly. At their weekly dance dates in the Orchid Ballroom. Now Oliver Twist has left the group, and 19-year-old Londoner David Bowie has joined them to record a disc released on the Pie label this week, entitled Can't Help Thinking About Me. And it's one which I think can't help getting into the charts. And there's just a bit more about the band there, and about the release of the record. I think it goes down to about here, and then it starts off on something else. So that's quite a rare cutting, that one, because it's a local paper, and the local papers in the 1960s almost impossible to get articles from these days. Very, very difficult. So that is very rare, that one. There we go. Moving on. Right, we need to move around. I said there were 3 different adverts for Can't Help Thinking About Me. This is a strip advert, and this is Melody Maker, January the 29th, 1966. And the one I haven't got is about that shape, which is Can't Help Thinking About Me, which has got a slightly different photo of Bowie on it. I've got 2 of the 3. And then going over to the other page, you've got Melody Maker. This is February the 26th, 1966, and this is the singles chart. Which probably doesn't mean too much, but if you look at number 34, it says Can't Help Thinking About Me charted, but it didn't really chart. It only charted in the Melody Maker chart of February the 26th, 1966, and strong rumour has it that it was bought into that position by the management of David Bowie. So they go into certain record shops and buy several copies of the single, because only certain record shops would contribute towards chart placings. So it was all a bit of a fix, really, and I think it dropped out after a couple of weeks. Yeah, it went from 37 in the first week up to 34, and that was its peak, and then it dropped out. But it didn't make the BBC charts, so I don't know how the hell it got into Melody Maker, but there we are, it did. Then this one here is Melody Maker, February the 26th, 66. So again, it's quite old, and there's just a little advert down the bottom here for David Bowie. Monday, February the 28th, and Celebrity Disc Jockey. Tickets in advance 4 shillings, and on night 5 shillings. I wonder how many people turned up to that. That's that one. We've got a bit of a larger article here, taking up a bit more space. This is Melody Maker, February 26, 1966. Without doubt, David Bowie has talent, and also without doubt it will be exploited, for Mr. Bowie, a 19-year-old Bromley boy, not only writes and arranges his own numbers, but he's also helping Tony Hatch to write a musical score and the numbers for a TV show. And if that wasn't enough, David also designed shirts and suits for John Stephen of the famed Carnaby Street Clan. And his ambition is